The Tyang Go is escorted by 2 additional trains. One drives ahead to check for dangers like planted explosives on the tracks or ambushes on the sides, while the other secures the back filled with heavily armed security, ready to rush to the Supreme Leader's rescue if need be. A helicopter scouts the area ahead and accompanies the convoy the entire time Kim is traveling through North Korean territory. Cargo planes station additional personnel at the closest airports along the route. The Tyang Go has reinforced bulletproof windows, and its walls and bottom are hardened to withstand explosions. Multiple compartments are carrying heavy weaponry, and the train is equipped to fight back against attacks from above with anti-aircraft missiles. It also carries anti-tank missiles and 2 machine guns to aggressively fend off attacks from either side of the tracks. If all defenses fail, the train carries a helicopter so Kim can flee from the scene. All this makes Kim's train extremely safe, but also extremely heavy. The Tyang Go travels at only 60 km/h, sometimes even slower due to the poor condition of railways in North Korea. When the train passes by a station, the power is cut off on all other tracks. There are 20 railway stations in the country that were built solely for this one train. Because of the slow speeds, Kim might be on the road for several days on end, just like during this particular trip to meet Putin. On board, he has everything he needs to govern his country day and night: an office with a desk, laptop, television, fax machine, satellite phone, and a map of China and the Korean peninsula on the wall. A reception room, a meeting room with a table. The interior style is quite eclectic, with most rooms entirely white with shiny wooden floors, green, and hot pink sofas, ivory and turquoise curtains, flower-shaped lamps, and zebra-patterned fabric seats. But the highlight of the train is the restaurant on board, where you can find all sorts of delicacies from Korean, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, and French cuisine. Kim Jong Un won't get bored during the journey either. The train has singers on board who serenade the Supreme Leader personally. When stepping off the train, 2 armored Mercedes limousines are unloaded for the last mile. Train travel has a long tradition in the Kim family. This is the Shin Palace, where the remains of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are laid to rest. Right next to their remains, you'll find life-size models of their personal train carriages. There's even said to be a painting of Kim Jong-il, proudly standing next to his train, with a map showing the many journeys they took. Taking the train started as a safety precaution. Kim Jong-il was reportedly also a bit afraid of flying. In 2001, he took a train journey lasting almost a month all the way to Moscow, covering a total of 20,000 kilometers. A Russian official named Konstantin Pakowski accompanied him. After the journey, he published a book about his experiences, much to the irritation of both the Russian and North Korean governments. That's because, for a long time, the Korean leaders' trains were shrouded in utter mystery. It was never announced when they would move and where. Also, the interior was largely kept secret. In 2004, Kim Jong's train passed the Yongchung station near the border with China. Just hours later, a massive explosion killed about 160 people and injured 300 more. Supposedly, a train parked at the station laden with oils and chemicals was hitting power lines. There were speculations that this might have been an assassination attempt. That's not entirely unlikely, as there have been many reports of internal power struggles in North Korea over the decades. The security of the train was reportedly boosted after the incident in 2009. Russian photographers were banned from taking pictures of the train while it was en route to then-President Dmitry Medvedev. Entire villages in Siberia were instructed to stay indoors until the train had passed. In the era of smartphones, this is no longer possible, and in some cases, not really desired, because the train also serves propaganda purposes. The Tyang Go fittingly means sun and has become a powerful symbol for North Korea. Kim Jong Un is said to use it to appear down to earth and close to the people, in stark contrast to the lofty image of the US president, his giant jumbo jet, and political leaders traveling by train. This is one way or another a symbol. After the invasion of Ukraine, the airspace above the country became unsafe. Many Western leaders started to visit Kiev by train through Poland. This has been coined as iron diplomacy. In the case of North Korea, the Tyang Go in some ways accentuates just how uniquely isolated the country is. The supreme leader rarely, or perhaps never, visits most parts of the world. There's also a certain irony in the train supposedly symbolizing the modesty of the Kim family. Journeys always have a destination. Kim's train finally arrives at Vostochny Cosmodrome, where he is greeted with one of the longest and perhaps most uncomfortable handshakes in history. Then Putin gives him the full tour: a spaceport, an aircraft factory, and the Pacific Fleet. Later, there's vodka, a ballet performance, and a walrus show. The reason the two men meet is quite serious. Russia is running low on ammunition and allies in its war against Ukraine. North Korea has enormous stocks of ammo and is not afraid to supply it. In return, the country could receive technical support from Russia for building new satellites and missiles for its nuclear weapons program. No official outcome has been announced, but Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov recently visited Pyongyang shortly after the meeting. He thanked North Korea for its support in the Ukraine conflict and reaffirmed the partnership between both countries. North Korea, in turn, officially recognized the territories captured by Russia as Russian sovereign territory. Lavrov didn't comment on weapons deliveries, but according to the U.S. government, North Korea has already delivered over 1,000 containers of ammunition and military equipment to Russia. North Korea and Russia both have very few international allies left. While the Tyang Go tries to be a symbol of power for North Korea, it is also a sign of the country's deep isolation. Vladimir Putin has accepted an offer to visit Kim Jong Un and return. This would be a good chance for him to take his very own ghost train.